let's do this because I have to make dinner.
Oh my gosh, you're not going to make it by 5?
My pork has been cooking all day.
Ever have your kids drag you to an event you did not know exactly what you are getting into? Who's the leader of the show? Cats and dogs and every other creature you can think of be knowing their name. Wholesome content tossed to the jaded was the recipe for reclaim. What have they gotten themselves into? They are the moms of furries, the mamas of all of this.
Hey, we are the Moms of Furries. My name is Carrie.
Hi, my name's Joelle.
So we are going to talk today about our adventures at Anthro Northwest 2024 and hope that you enjoy. And thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, I'm still recovering. We got home Sunday night and today is Tuesday and I am still exhausted. What about you?
I am starting to recover. Those of you that may not know, there was a whole fiasco with airplanes recently, and my flight back to Florida was canceled. So there was a last minute switcheroo, which we were able to work through. But I got home at 6 a.m. on Monday morning and had to work at 8 a.m. Monday. So Monday was a rough day for me. And I sounded sick from all of the, just your voice.
Right.
Because we'd talked so much. First of all, we're talkers and we had the opportunity to just keep going. And then being up for 24 hours didn't help. But I think today I feel a lot better. This morning, I am very proud to say I got up and I exercised. So yay.
I actually got on the treadmill myself. That's my commitment this week is if nothing else, I'm going to walk for like a half an hour on the treadmill just to at least have done something. And I'm hoping it inspires me to actually start working out again. And, but right now,
some movement, right?
Right,
Some
exactly.
Start.
Consistency is the biggest thing, and it's my biggest challenge. So if I can just do that, I feel like I've won.
Yep, make it a habit.
So anyway, we're trying, as you do.
And I feel good about it. So let's talk about Anthro Northwest, shall we?
Well, my first thing.
Go ahead.
My first thing is the fact that I'm glad we're doing a podcast again. We had so many parents. It just surprised me how many people said that they've heard our podcast, which we've only put out very sporadically. So it's interesting to me that people are finding our podcast. Obviously, there are those out there listening.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited that we're doing it in it with our schedules, considering we both work full time. We both have families that we take care of. We both, have all of these other responsibilities like so many other people do. So this is the way that we can connect. And I love that.
Agreed. Let's talk Anthro Northwest.
All right. So let's start with a brief recap of the event. First of all, I'm going to say just so excited. There were so many kids. It just gets better. And this was really fantastic.
I would say that we probably, although we don't record the number of visitors in our space, I feel like the Young Furry Chill space hit record numbers.
Definitely. And so I was looking back through some of my photos because I was sharing at work today. I was really excited. And there were times that every seat at our tables, all of our tables were full. So we really have to think about that for next year. And when we had our rave dance party on Saturday night, I had to go to ConOps and ask them to turn down the air because there were so many kids in there dancing.
Well,
it was hot.
It was interesting because, our main space is where the parents hang out and, kids will, kids will filter in and maybe make a badge or something and then go back to the dance. It was like standing room only in there. So the conga line was a big... That was a big draw. I
am really excited I have video of that because that was just one of the cutest things ever.
Every year watching these kids just organize themselves, it's kind of inspiring. These are groups of kids who come from all walks of life and they come to this one convention and suddenly they're all besties, doing a conga line together. They sat down in a circle and they were calling it the therapy circle. But as far as I could see, what they were doing was just sharing stories with each other and talking about their experiences. It was really neat. And we had dozens of parents come up to us and thank us for having this space. But as well known as we are within the fandom, we are not very well known to the public, which may or may not be good. Don't know.
And I think that doing the podcast and really making an effort, what happened was COVID.
Yeah.
So not to go off on a tangent, but we were really growing and increasing our numbers just on all of our social media areas. And then COVID happened. And I see that it's happened to a lot of people, really. And I see those messages in the fandom where people are saying, it's different. It is different, but that's
Right.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Seeing those kids have the therapy circle and dance is the community that we really need to keep working with, because that's the whole reason you said, Carrie, we need to make a video, because having those kids find each other matters.
Right. We had another big thing. We were able to facilitate this Anther Northwest, and that is there was a kid that we met many years ago when he was actually in middle school, and he is graduating this year. And his
From
mom,
high school.
Yeah, he's graduating from high school this year. But this year we were able to facilitate him getting to don the Andy costume and represent the convention at a specific time. And it was just, we were crying when he walked in, and when they all walked in and he was in suit. And of course, Andy, I'm not sure who knows this, who doesn't. Andy is a silent suit or a silent character. So you might not know who's in the costume at any given point, but this kid just was phenomenal.
I think, and his mom was really moved too, which is beautiful. But seeing him do that, I remember when we first brought, we have some donated suits that we bring for kids to feel. Sometimes they've never felt a fursuit, and just to touch the hair and get inspired. And so he was able to try some on years ago, and I took photos of him. And just seeing him come full circle, and he did such an amazing job being able to get a photo with him. And he was able to have that experience, and all of the kids rushed up and they were excited to get a photo with Andy. And, he was also that kid not too long ago. So that was just
It was just really amazing. It was super cool. He's such a great kid. So,
he really is.
He
really is. He has such great character, and he's so interesting and kind. Everything about him.
And he has a great mom.
Oh, she's fantastic. I know. I would love to hang out with her.
I know. I wish we had more time to, spend.
Have a hard.
Speaking of suits, we had some really cool things happen. So in the beginning of the convention this year, we had a parent come in with their young furry with a fursuit head that they donated to this space. Typically, we have suits for kids to try on, and the parent they just wanted us to use this head, however we wanted. They had ordered it, and it just wasn't the right character for them, so they wanted to donate it and use it for good. And so they had said, suggested possibly we auction it, and we thought maybe we would just hold on to it and add to the suit collection that kids kind of get to sample. But during the convention, we had a young furry who was in there making badges, wander into the quiet space and stumble upon the fursuit head, and just immediately connected to this suit or this character. And so this young furry created a badge and fell in love.
Had to bid it farewell at the end of the night when we were closing, really just connected.
Right. So with permission from the mom, who was in attendance as well, we decided just to gift that suit head to this young furry. And it was just the best feeling to be able to do that. It was just really, really
They couldn't even
cool.
speak.
No.
They couldn't. They just were hugging it. Oh my gosh. It was so cool.
It was just the right person for the right persona.
It was perfect. All right. So first impressions, an amazing convention for us. We had some wonderful things happen. So let's talk about what might have surprised us. Did you have anything that happened this convention that surprised you?
People talking more about the podcast than anything. That really surprised me. That really did, because it's not been a big part of our content. So that was surprising. I don't know, you?
I guess there were some things that surprised me. I think the biggest surprise I had, and I don't know why it surprised me, because we have continued to grow, but just the volume of people that were in our room. So many, and not just in our room. So Tap Otter gives it a talk. On one day, he does the grown-ups and young furries, kids. And then the second day, he does just the grown-ups without the kids present to kind of have real talk, which
Right.
I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
And that first day when he had his combined talk, I was pleasantly surprised at how many people were there. So he had a really good turnout. I took a bunch of photos and sent to him because it was just, to me, I thought it was great. And
I know a
and
big
that,
surprise.
what?
Who did the second one?
Oh, well, that was going to be one of my other things. Poor Taff Otter. I guess he fell ill. And so they came to us, was it Saturday?
Yeah, it was like an hour and a half before the panel for parents only.
Right. And they said, hey, he's under the weather. Can you jump in? And of course, what are we going to say?
Yeah, of course we will. We're nervous when we've prepared and we've had months to prepare
Yeah, we did not prepare.
anything. But fortunately it is what we do within the fandom anyway. So it was easy to talk to parents. And really we just kind of went over the things that we're always asked. And I feel like it went really well.
Yeah, it was a very organic conversation, I would say. Amazing too, because again, all of the parents there are so invested. It's just so moving, and they're tears every day. Tears every day.
Every day. Every con specifically, but this time every day.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful, just the connection. So it was great. I felt like it was an organic conversation, and I feel like it was a success. And here's why I feel like that way. Because it was booked for a 1 hour panel, and we stayed until the end of the panel, and people were talking, and nobody got up and left.
Right.
And so I feel like even if it wasn't what Taff would have done, and it wasn't, Taff would have done something amazing.
Taft does it's an amazing panel, and it always gets really, really great reviews.
Yes.
So we knew going into it that it wasn't going to be what it typically is.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be Taff, but I
Right.
still feel like it was a success just because we were all able to talk and the parents were able to connect with each other. So that was wonderful. So that was a surprise.
Yeah.
Is there one thing that you overall loved? We already talked about our friend getting it to fursuit, but something else that you loved?
You know what I loved?
I know what you're going to say, and it's me too.
I don't know if it is. You tell me, and I'll tell you if that's it. Go.
So we were at dinner, and there was a fire alarm.
Oh my gosh, it was exactly what I was going to say.
I know.
We are the same brainwave. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So we were evacuated along with many other people, and that's fine. Safety is super important, but I get very fussy in the cold. I don't like to be cold. So I walked out fussy because I knew I was going to be standing in the rain. I didn't have a coat or a raincoat, and I didn't know how long we were going to be evacuated. And we're standing there. And we hear this person say something muffled because they're covered in a fursuit head.
No, it was a the
helmet.
The helmet, like the electronic helmet.
Yes. Yeah.
I know that people listening to this cannot see me using my hands to describe it. So
So yeah, but completely covered. And I said, what? And so they started ripping at it, trying to get it off, and then pulling off their balaclava. It's me, it's Mez.
And it was Mez Pulse.
Our friend who we have known for years. And the first time we met in person happened to be standing with me at a coffee station at BLFC in Reno, Nevada, and stayed in that line with me the whole time and bought me a cup of coffee.
Yep.
So that was amazing.
And we don't always get a chance to really talk and visit, not as much as we'd like. And we've watched
because
this
we're always
kid
in the chill space.
We're always in the chill space, and we love that. But we've watched this kid just grow. They got into dance comps, and they were amazing. And then they decided to step back from that. They're a maker. They make beautiful suits and other things. So it's just been really cool. We're really connected to this kid. Well, they're not a kid, but to us they are.
No, to us, yeah.
So you decided, one of us decided we weren't just going to stand and wait for the fire alarm.
No, it was all you, because I was just standing there feeling sorry for myself. Because I was cold.
And I was like, let's go get some coffee. So we took off, and of course we invited Mez to come with. and our MoF assistant, that is also one of our kids, Gwendolyn, we have now dubbed Gwendolyn. So the four of us just decided to take off and find coffee. And we didn't find coffee, but we did find this cute little, like, sort of like a corner convenience store cafe thing, and get some ice cream bars.
Semi-abandoned.
It felt like it was abandoned completely. But then we realized there was someone on the phone watching us act like idiots, being silly in their space.
That's right. And I'm fine with that. And it was
So
the
much
best
fun.
thing. It was so delightful. And, the happenstance of being able
So
to
great.
see them and get a hug and hang out
They
for a
even
few minutes.
walked in rain puddles in their paws to hang out.
Oh,
And
their little foot paws were just soaking.
and then, but we walked back around the block. We got our ice cream and stuff, and we walked back around the block, and we got back just in time that everybody had made it back in from the, thankfully, false alarm. And we got back to the dinner, and you and Gwendolyn had your ice creams, and we sat down back, right? Our plates were still on the table, so we were able to finish our lovely dinner and go back out for the evening.
Skedaddle. So that was
It was my favorite
wonderful.
part. It was up there. One of the top 3 of the con for sure.
Yeah, I absolutely loved that. Okay, so we had things that we loved, things that surprised us.
Mm-hmm.
What made you sad?
I didn't really get sad. I don't think. Did I?
I don't know.
I don't know. Did you?
Things that make me sad. There's two things. I have two things that made me sad this convention. One is the sadness in like just connecting with somebody as though time has stood still.
Mhm.
But knowing, I probably won't see some of these folks for an entire year because some of these folks are only Anthem Northwest
Right.
convention goers.
Right.
And that's just how it is.
Right.
That makes me sad to think I have to wait a whole nother year to have these beautiful connections because they are so meaningful to me.
Mhm.
And the other thing that makes me sad is when I see kids, these young furries, and they go and they meet somebody and they say, "Hi, my name is Carrie. What are your pronouns?" And that person will say, and then they connect, and they might be 9 or 10, and it's so beautiful. Like when I hear these things, and it happens all the time, I want to cry because the sad part of it is this should be the way instead of the exception. I shouldn't even notice this. It should be okay for us to just acknowledge somebody's pronouns or say, "Hey, what's your persona? What's your character?" And just pick up these conversations so easily. So it makes me sad that these kids only really have that experience when they're at a convention or with other furries.
I gotcha. But on the flip side of that, it makes me happy that they have the conventions in these spaces, and I'm proud of our space, as I know you are. Had they not had that, maybe I would feel differently. But you know me, I'm typically a glass full kind of person, and I see it as, instead of being sad that it's not the normal, I'm happy that these guys have it. And also, I think it's moving more toward the normal with this generation and people coming up. So
I think the generation, yes, absolutely agree. And kids are just able to understand fluidity so much better.
Mhm.
So yes.
It's so many more parents.
Yes, lots and lots of dads or male figures that are important in these kids' lives in some way. And that's huge.
Not what we experience typically or have up until this point. So that was something interesting. And just the amount of parents wanting to maybe not try to understand to, quote unquote, get it, but just to learn more about it, what to look for, to be aware of, and not, none of them seem to be overly freaked out about things, just, wanting to be aware and learn about it and connect with their kids. So that was so, so cool. I don't know. It was just good.
I think that's a shift, by the way.
I agree. I agree. I think
because if you think about earlier times, there was a lot of parents that approached us saying,
you're right. I do feel like it was different. I feel like it was more inquisitive instead of overwhelmed this time. These people are bringing their kids. They're already supportive in some way. I was proud of us. We did try to make sure we supported those parents every opportunity we had. They're trying and they're helping. And so,
well, and I think the overwhelming question was not so much, is this safe? It's so weird, but kind of more, I don't have to get it. My kid likes it. I'm not really sure how to bridge this into our everyday lives.
Right,
That's
right, right.
kind of
That
what I
was
saw.
something, right? And it was interesting. It was just it was a great convention.
Yes, and of course the Hyatt is a gorgeous hotel, and they
Mhm.
always treat us really well. It's a beautiful hotel. So I love going back, and the elevator situation is pretty good. Once you get the hang of putting your card on the button and leave it there until it lights up, and making sure you're in the right bank of elevators, which I
Oh,
think after 5 years now I've got it.
maybe. And pro tip, sometimes you have to ride the elevator the opposite direction. Just get on and ride it until you can go the other way. If you're going up, maybe sometimes you go down for a little bit and then push up.
Make
Just
friends.
make friends.
Oh, well,
Oh,
here's one thing I'm sad about. So
oh,
normally at every convention, at least one time, we are super weird on an
no,
elevator and we make the other occupants uncomfortable. And we failed to do that this time.
which is unusual for us every single convention, not just Anthro Northwest that happens, but we did sort of make up for it.
I don't know what you mean.
So there was, we were in the elevator and it was just us, which is a rare thing during a convention. And as the doors were closing, this what appeared to be a young adult ran into the elevator trying to make it into the elevator before we left and kind of used their face to keep the doors open. And they got in and you could tell it was a little bit awkward. And instead of letting it go politely, Carrie said, we saw that and we're going to tell people.
And we did. Here you
What made it hilarious is that the person said, yeah, I would too.
are.
So I bet we made them uncomfortable. We just thought it was funny. So
Maybe, possibly. I didn't see any weird normies weirded out either
no, we
this
even
trip.
had that one couple in the elevator that said how fun it made their trip and how they really enjoyed all of it. And that was really, really neat to hear.
Agree. So I think though, here's some feedback for the Hyatt. Make sure that the pizza vending machines are
Is
stocked. Yes, because we need to eat that. But we were so brave because we had dim sum twice and it was amazing.
it was really
And it
good.
was for science though, because we had Dozone a couple
Hmm.
years ago and we really, really enjoyed it.
And
So that was on
actually,
our radar.
what do they call it? Where
Hospitality
they
suite.
the hospitality suite. So last year, or the year before, they actually provided some noodles from the Dozone, and that's how we even learned about it. So good.
Yes, so it was amazing. And then this summer, I was in Seattle visiting family, and I found Din Tai Fung dim sum, and that
Hmm.
was amazing. And so I
Hmm.
told Joelle, and she happened to be there for what was it for?
The Nintendo Live thing.
Joelle took her kids there, and they loved it. So and she found a new drink. So we just build on the excitement. So we
So
went and had what was it called? Salted
it's
caramel
a sea
happiness.
salt foam or cream, sea salt cream black tea with boba. Oh my
Oh,
gosh. I would drive to Seattle weekly to have that if I could. If I could justify it. Sorry, it's Friday. I gotta go to
I
Seattle
gotta
for my
go.
tea. Oh my gosh. And then the chocolate mochi
Mm,
dumplings, dessert
delicious.
dumplings. Oh my gosh.
So we had a couple of fantastic meals there. So, so good. We
And
ate
then
well this time.
we did. We don't always, but this time we really tried to make sure that we did. There was something else I wanted to say about this convention. Oh, I know. Someone on social media, I believe it was Cass Mutt, I'm like almost positive, listed out just some things other conventions should take note of how Anthro Northwest treats their people and their vendors. And honestly, although we're not technically a vendor, it's really, really true. And for us as well. And I did want to just go through that a little bit. If I can find it, I wasn't prepared. I know that one of the first things that Cass Mutt said was, they check on their vendors regularly. Flair comes around, the convention staff comes around, and that is true for
True,
us.
true, true.
And they make sure that you're getting food, like with the hospitality suite. They make sure they do a daytime suite and an evening suite where they are trying to make sure everybody has what they need to be healthy and be there. They bring water. So for vendors, apparently they pay attention to the official vendor chat to keep track of vendors who are leaving their their booth, so they kind of can keep track of that. Vendor hours are not so early that people aren't going to show up, and not so late that the vendors can't get dinner. The security cameras, which their system is new this year, and that was really nice to have. And let's see, the staff. We have only had a few incidences there, nothing serious, but it does not matter how small or how large a situation is. When we go to ConOps and Player, a solution is brought to us immediately.
Like instantly. And we are checked on frequently as well. So frequently.
The other convention that we have been multiple times, many times, is FWA. And they are very conscientious about keeping us, communicating with us and talking to us and supporting us there too.
Yeah. We are well taken care of for sure. Which is great because we have so many kids there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Quickly. One thing that did surprise me, biggest surprise, the convention. One afternoon, someone came in, a young furry, and just said, "Furry invasion, full of character, lots of life." I was confused because that young furry did not, in my mind, equal our regular Anther Northwest group, but I knew we knew the furry. And adorable and so much personality and amazing, and flittered around in about 5 minutes after they came into the space, got to the main table where we laminate and where we're typically congregating, and said, "Do you remember me from FWA?" And it clicked in my head like, oh my gosh, it was just shock. So that kid, it was dad that brought that young furry to Anther Northwest, and mom had taken to FWA, and I think they're from New York. So that kid has been all over the place. It was so cool to see them. So cool. Like this kid is probably going to grow up to be an entertainer or a journalist, something super, super, super energetic and like just fun and fantastic.
Yeah, that kid is amazing. And what a great experience. Can't wait to see them hopefully at FWA. All right. So we're going to have to wrap up. We're getting short of time, but what is coming up next for us, Joelle?
So for us, lots of things personally. We both have kids graduating high school this year, and later in the year we have some other things happening. But for moms of furries, our next convention is Furry Week in Atlanta, and I believe it's May 9th through 12th. And we're going to have our Young Furry Chill Space there, and that's fantastic. We're so excited. There's a change in our location, which we will start to really be getting those details out as we get closer to it. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited.
So cool. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and then 2 weeks later, we will be guest of honors at Anthro, Ohio. So we're really excited about that too. It's a smaller con. We've not been there, and
I've never been to Ohio, so I'm excited about that. We're guest of honor. It's going to be so cool. Can't wait to meet all the kids out there.
You've never been to Ohio?
You know this.
I didn't know that. I just thought
Yes,
there.
I said
Anyway,
it all the
okay.
time. I said it at this
I don't know.
time.
I only
You
have to pay
listen to
attention.
me?
Nope.
I'm just kidding. We hope to restart our podcast and start doing things more often. So please message us. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Let us know if you don't want us to talk. I'm just kidding. We're going to talk anyway. But
Don't tell us that. We get enough mean stuff as this. Don't tell us that.
We hardly get any mean stuff. It's just that when we get it, it makes us sad.
Yeah.
It makes one of us sad. The other doesn't care. What podcast interests do you have? What do you want to hear? What do you want us to talk about?
And let us know. And you can find us here, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever, Instagram, Blue Sky, social, MoFurries. Just go to MoFurries.com, and that has all of the things. So
MoFurries.com. Yes.
We are going to have to end this.
Thank you guys for stopping by and listening to us for this whole time. We have really enjoyed it, and we hope you are well. We hope to see you soon at another convention or interact with you on social media. Thank you again. I am Carrie.
And this is Joelle, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Mamas of all of this.